Welcome to
Tamarindo Podcast.
Hosted by me, Brenda Gonzalez, a fitness coach, political nerd, and nonprofit capacity builder.
And me, Delcy Sandoval, a Guatemalan-American licensed therapist and passionate creativity advocate. Together, we're here to uplift our community through powerful conversations with changemakers, creatives, and healers.
Each week on the pod, we talk politics, culture, and personal development. Listeners call Tamarindo the Advocacy and Self-Love Podcast. Vámonos! Let's start the show. Hi, Tamarindo amiguis. Before we get started, I want to let you know that we are down to one spot left for Encuentro, our empowering retreat to Puebla, Mexico, April 30th through May 4th. I also want to let you know that we have added an optional Mexico City excursion to kick off the retreat. That means you would arrive on the 29th, and we'll have dinner, breakfast, lunch. We'll stay at Condesa. We will go to the Anthropology Museum, Chapultepec, and travel together to Encuentro. That's an optional add-on. Contact me right away at brenda@tamarindopodcast.com. Once again, that's brenda@tamarindopodcast.com if you are interested. Again, one spot left. Of course, if you bring a friend, we can make it work. Give us an email as soon as you can. All right, this week we have a mini episode of Tamarindo reconnecting with friend of the pod, Elmer Roldan. At just 9 years old, Elmer and his cousins embarked on a dangerous 13-day journey from Guatemala to reunite with family here in Los Angeles. They had all of their money and belongings stolen along the way. Shortly before that, Elmer's mother fled domestic violence and worked cleaning houses to save enough money to send for him and his siblings. Growing up, Elmer lived in a one-bedroom apartment with 6 family members surrounded by the crack epidemic, gang violence, and generational poverty. And he channeled that adversity into purpose. Today, he serves as Executive Director of Communities and Schools of Los Angeles, a dropout, pushout prevention nonprofit that connects students to resources, caring mentors, and real-world opportunities in high-need communities. And he's running for City Council to represent District 9, the very neighborhood that shaped him. You'll learn more about Elmer and why he's committed to building a better Los Angeles. Delcy will be back next week. Elmer, it is so great to welcome you back to Tamarindo. How are you?
Well, first of all, I'm really excited to be back. I was here right before the pandemic. Trump was president then too, and he was vilifying a different group of Latinos. Back then it was Salvadoreños who were the target. This time around has been Venezolanos who have been the subject of his ire. And, of course, that's connected to Maduro's overthrowing. So we're following closely all the attacks on our Latino people. But first and foremost, I am really excited to be back with you.
Yes, and I'm also very excited to have you back. And the reason why I thought it was perfect for us to reconnect is because you're doing something super exciting. You are running for office. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about why you're running, what are you running for, etc. Just catch us up on that.
Yeah, it is very exciting. I am running for LA City Council in the district where I live, the district where I've spent my entire life. It's Council District 9, which encompasses parts of downtown, including LA Live, the Convention Center, Expo Park, USC, and Trade Tech. And then the rest that sprawls out into South Central Los Angeles, mostly on the east side of the 110 freeway. And then at different points, it stretches out as far west as Normandy and then as far east as Alameda.
Tell us about the people of this district for folks that are not tuning in from LA. Who are the people? Who are the people you grew up with?
Yeah. So this is a beautiful district with a lot of history. It has evolved over the decades. It was primarily an African-American district for the last 40 to 50 years. Obviously, before that, it was very industrial. A lot of auto plants used to operate in this area. And, Black folks migrated here primarily after the
The
after
Great
folks
Migration.
became emancipated, came here, and after the world wars, and they came and they settled in this part of Los Angeles, mostly because of segregation. They weren't allowed to go anywhere else. So Central Avenue is historic for a couple reasons. One, because that was the western border, so Black folks were not allowed to buy land west of Central. And so they built a robust economy there, mostly fueled by the jazz era, when the jazz greats used to come and perform in downtown Los Angeles and in the hotels where folks with money, white people, used to stay there. But the greats like Duke Ellington were not allowed to stay in the same hotels where they were entertaining people. And so there's a historic site, the Dunbar Hotel. There was a couple that came. They set up this hotel as the premier site for folks to visit, and that then launched at the time one of the centers of Black wealth that existed. Businesses boomed there. There was a nightlife. And then as desegregation moved on, then Black folks with money started migrating further west. Today, the district is majority Latino, so it's almost 80% Latino. A lot of us immigrant who came here, settled in this part of town, and have been here for decades. It's still about 16% African American. And then there are, sprinkles of other groups, living mostly in the northern part of the district and the downtown area. So we have a population of white folks and Asians living here as well. And then, of course, USC is here. It's in the district. And so, there are people from all over the world attending that school.
Yes, you've painted a great picture of what this district historically has been, what it looks like today. But tell us about your why. Why are you running? Tell us your story.
Yeah. So I'm running because I believe that the people of Council District 9 need to be in control of our own destiny. And I don't say that lightly, because what's happened is our representation has historically we've had Black representation here. We've had some great leaders in office, but for the last 12 years, we've had folks who are not from South Los Angeles, who have come and have represented the council office. Today, we're running a similar challenge where we have folks who are, spent some time in South LA, moved out, and decided to come back just to run. So the district has historically been, we have folks who are, unethical who are running for office. We have folks who are transplants who decided to come and move into the district just to run for office. And to me, that what it equates to is folks who believe that they know best what South Central Los Angeles and Council District 9 needs. And for me, it's about us having grassroots leadership that has been fighting to improve the district. And quite frankly, I'm running because when I talk to my neighbors and I myself experience what it looks like when the government doesn't respond to your needs, when the government is not meeting you where you are at. Our streets don't feel safe. They are dirty. We don't see the investments. A lot of money leaves our area because folks have to go shopping outside of our district because we don't have the same amenities that folks in other parts of the city have. And we depend on mostly mom and pop shops and family-owned businesses that equally struggle to get the same leverage and support that we see in other parts of the city, especially the types of tax breaks that big corporations get. And so I am running to represent the wonderful people of the Ninth. I am running because I believe that we can create more wealth, and I believe in investing in the people here and protecting the legacy, the beautiful history of Council District 9. This is a campaign primarily focused on Black and Latino resistance, existence, and progress.
Mm-hmm. And you're not new to being a community leader. You're not new to advancing change. For people that don't know about you, tell us your background. What have you been involved in?
Yeah. So I was really fortunate that at the age of 13, I was recruited to community organizing. So, before that, my family landed in South Central Los Angeles in the 80s. I was 9 years old. At the age of 13, I get recruited to this organization, Community Coalition, which is a well-known group. It was founded by Karen Bass, who is now our city mayor. And the premise or the mission was to bring together Black and Latino residents to address quality of life issues, primarily economic and social issues. The crack cocaine epidemic was, destroying our neighborhoods, and there was a lot of unsafe conditions that were primarily created by businesses that were going unchecked, liquor stores and motels. But the organization from its inception had a philosophy that young people needed to be a part of change, that throughout history, young people have been the moral compass, and we needed to invest in homegrown leadership. And that's what they did with us. And they ingrained in us that we were part of the solution, that we needed to use our talents, our skills, and not to move out, but instead to build roots and to continue to fight for the communities that we called home. And that's what I've been doing now for the last 4 decades.
Yeah. I love it. So this is great. I mean, of course, like I shared, I know you've been on this podcast before. You even co-hosted an episode with me way back in the day. So it's a reunion for me, but I want our listeners to get to know a little bit about your story. And so what I'm taking from what you're sharing is that you are from this district, and you're literally like modeling what you learned, right? About like staying within the community, investing in the community, not leaving, and figuring out how you could be part of the solution from an early age. Like you've never given that up, right? Like that's been so essential to you. And then 2, about what other jobs you've had that kind of carry through that, about inspiring young people.
Sure.
I'd love the listeners to know.
Yeah, thank you. So like I said, I grew up community organizing at Community Coalition. And then I also worked at LA Unified. So I was at LA Unified at 2 different time periods. The first time I was working for the school board president. So I was on the political side. And then when I came back, I was working for the superintendent on the administrative side. So I got to see the world from both of those angles. And then I've worked in other nonprofits, mostly tied to education and identifying ways of us improving the quality of education and ensuring that students graduate ready for a meaningful career or college. And so everything, it runs the gamut from building new schools to improving the quality of instruction to ensuring kids can eat in school, fighting for breakfast in the classroom, fighting for more equitable funding so that schools in low-income communities have more resources and better support, more staffing, and then also decriminalizing kids in school. So I went to school at a time when there were a lot of punitive laws that literally kept kids from learning. If you got to school 5 minutes late, you were often kept out of an entire period because you were sent to detention. At one point, kids were given tickets for showing up to school late. Imagine if you were given a ticket for showing up to work 5 minutes late, or if you were kept from working or getting paid. But we criminalized kids in a way that really told them that we didn't want them to learn. And this disproportionately impacted Black boys, Black girls, LGBTQ youth, and young women were targeted a lot for their dress code. And so we worked to change those policies over the years and make schools more welcoming, especially to these populations that I just mentioned.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we want to do to wrap this up, we always have 3 fun rapid fire questions. So the first one is, what is one thing you're celebrating? What gets your matraca?
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm celebrating all the energy that people are bringing to this campaign. You put your name out there, you put out a vision, and I love the young energy that this is bringing. I love to see high school students and college age youth and the señoras coming to the table and saying that they want to be a part of the solution and joining me in this fight. And that's what it's all about. It's about building a movement of people who want to roll up their sleeves and fight to uplift their own communities.
And then what goes in la basura? What is something, it could be a concept, a thing, whatever comes to mind that you're just done with. What goes in la basura?
First and foremost is this Trump administration. It is appalling what they are doing to this country, to our people. I mean, the latest attack is on housing. They want to take away funding from mixed status families, putting thousands of our people at risk of being out on the streets, as if we need any more reasons to grow the number of homelessness in Los Angeles. The impact that they're having on the economy, the mass layoffs. I mean, 300,000 Black women lost their jobs instantly because of Doge. And the attacks on healthcare, the attacks on food vouchers. I mean, the list goes on and how cruel this administration has been. And it feels like we're following a lunatic. I mean, every time that Trump opens his mouth, you wonder where his mind truly is. And the fact that he has an army of people that are constantly vouching for him, and some folks that are really vile, really racist, but also are masterminds of manipulating federal laws to advance their own agendas and utilizing Trump. That for some reason, the man was made out of Teflon, because nothing can stick to him. I don't understand how someone like him is even allowed to vote, let alone be the president of the United States.
It's pretty
raking
bad.
in billions of dollars that he and his family are literally pillaging from the government. And so, every single day, your jaw drops even lower because you can't believe all the BS that they get away with.
Yeah, it's an all-out war against poor people, and it's an all-out robbery against our money. Right? He's just straight up stealing all our money.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Goes en la basura. And to counter that, what is something that's kind of giving you inspiración and keeping you grounded?
Oh my God, all the people on the streets. Folks refusing to just bow down the way that corporations, the way that politicians have been. I mean, it's shameful to see all the big folks who put up a fight the first time around, who are just bending over backwards to please this man and giving him millions of dollars for basura projects that he has on his checkoff list. And young people, young folks have been leaving schools. They've been, walking out the way that we did in the 90s to protest this inhumane administration. And young folks continue to inspire. We oftentimes hear, us saying that, young people are not focused, that they're not motivated. But the reality is young people continue to lead the way. And thousands of kids demonstrating that they are out there defending their family's right to exist, that they are going to fight for their moms, their dads, their abuelitas, their madrinas and padrinos. I mean, that to me is just lights my heart, and it inspires me to keep fighting and reminds me what movement I am a part of. And it makes me truly proud to be a member of that community.
Yes, a wonderful note to end our conversation in. Where can people get connected to the campaign and get involved?
Yes, please get involved. If you live in Council District 9, you can donate and your dollars will be unlocked. They unlock a match from the city. If you want to donate to the campaign, you can. It doesn't matter where you come from or where you live. If you want to get involved, we welcome all volunteers. You can find me on all social media channels at Elmer4CD9. That's Elmer, ELMER 4CD, as in Council District 9. Or folks can find me at my website, elmerroldan.com. tamarindopodcast.com. You can learn more about my platform. You can get informed, you can get involved, and I welcome any and everybody who wants to be a part of this campaign so that we can make CD9 for CD9.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Elmer. So wonderful to check in with you and, keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate Tamarindo and all your listeners.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining this episode. We continue to celebrate 10 years of Tamarindo this March, and we invite you to celebrate with us. You can tell your friends about Tamarindo, asking them to subscribe to the show. You can sign up for our newsletter by going to tamarindopodcast.com and clicking on the newsletter section at the top. And you can also send us a contribution through our Support Us page. Yes, it takes resources to keep this platform going and many, many, many unpaid hours by Delcy and me. We do this all because we know that you're out there and that you're listening. And let me tell you a little bit of what we do. We do all of the guest booking, the episode planning, all of the social media, you name it. We're doing it, and we're doing it for free. So if you have $5 that you want to kick over to us, go to support us. Go to our tamarindopodcast.com page and you'll see the support us page at the top there. All right. And also something that costs no money is we really appreciate your love notes. So just rating and reviewing Tamarindo on whatever platform you're listening. And when your review, tell us what you like about the podcast. And if you always have feedback at any time, you can reach us at contact@tamarindopodcast.com. And we appreciate all of you who have already shared this episode with friends, other episodes with friends, or have talked about Tamarindo with your network. Thank you. Tamarindo Podcast is hosted by Brenda Gonzalez and Delcy Sandoval. We're also the show's executive producers. Jeff Ricards wrote our theme song, and Sonoro Media's Karina Riverroll provides production support. If you like what you hear, please take a few minutes to rate and review Tamarindo Podcast or share this episode with a friend. It really helps us grow. To get in touch with us, find us at tamarindopodcast.com. Thank you for listening.